Good day to everyone watching this video. My name is Sulma Mendoza. I am an immigration attorney and the director of Jamlac's Immigration Department. I want to give you all a heartfelt thank you for volunteering at one of our citizenship workshops. Today's training video will cover the flow of our workshop, as well as the forms and supporting documentations you will need in order to prepare an application for our participants. The goal of our workshop is to serve approximately 20 to 30 participants with applying for citizenship with USCIS. And who are the participants? They are Colorado residents who hold lawful permanent residency and have a desire to become U.S. citizens. Our workshop has 4 stations. There is the check-in station, the preparation station, consultation with an attorney, and then the checkout station. The check-in station confirms the participants are on our registration list, and we confirm that they have all of the required documents for us to prepare their application. At the preparation station, volunteers will be coupled with a participant who will complete the N400 citizenship application. We will go into more detail over this form in a little bit. The consultation station, each participation will have a consultation with an attorney to review and sign the application, as well as answer the participants' questions regarding the citizenship process. And finally, our checkout station. We will make copies of the application and provide the participants with an addressed envelope ready for them to mail out to immigration. Before preparing the applications, our office will conduct an eligibility orientation with everyone present just to make sure each participant qualifies before we draft their application. When we couple a volunteer who is going to prepare the application, each participant will have a folder that contains the following documents: a completed questionnaire that has all the information necessary to fill out the application, a copy of their lawful permanent resident card, a copy of their marriage certificate and/or divorce certificate if needed, and copies of court records or their driving record if needed. This information is needed in order to complete the application. Here's an example of a permanent resident card that each participant should have. The permanent resident card does contain important information that can be helpful in filling out the application. First, it will have their name and date of birth. It would also have their A number, which on the resident card is listed under USCIS number. And it also has the date they became a resident and the date that the card expires. The N400 naturalization application is the actual name of the form under USCIS that each of us will have completed for the participants. I want to go into now covering in how to draft the application. First, I want to go into how to access the application. If you are going to be using a laptop that is a Jamlac laptop, you will have a folder that has Naturalization Workshop on it. In that folder, you are going to have an N400 application. Let me start from the beginning. So if you're using a Jamlac volunteer computer, you will have a folder labeled Naturalization Workshop. Once you go into that folder, you will have access to N400 forms. These 3 forms are the forms that you are needed. Please make sure that it's one that says updated. This is how you will access the form you're going to complete for each participant. If you are not using a Jamlac laptop and have your own laptop, you will be provided with a flash drive that will contain these forms that you need to complete. It is important that once you get the form opened, please save it into one of these ways. So once you have the form open, we would like you to save it. So we're going to do a save as. If you are on a Jamlac laptop, choose a different folder. You will have under your quick access a folder with the date of the workshop. For the next one, for example, will be November 2nd, 2024. We want you to choose that folder, and then you're going to put the name of the participant. I will just do this as an example. It would be under my name. You'll save it and then put the name, and then you'll go ahead and save it. If you are not using a Jamlac laptop and instead using the flash drive, we ask that you save it onto the flash drive with the participant's name. That way we make sure that your application is actually saving. Okay, and so now I want to go into detail with regards to the application itself. The N400 application, as labeled here, is about 14 pages, and it is labeled as application for naturalization. Now, the words naturalization and citizenship, you can use them both to describe the same thing. Okay, it is important for you to enter the A number, the alien registration number, that should be listed on the questionnaire. And again, it should be listed on their green card under USCIS number. So make sure to enter this in this document, because then it will auto-populate on every single document after, or single page. We're going to start with part 1. You have to inform immigration if they are eligible. For our participants, they will fill out one of the top 3. It will be under A, B, or C. A, general provision, is for anybody who's been a resident for at least 5 years. So you would go ahead and check that box. Now, if your participant is married to a U.S. citizen, then they would check box B. And I'll explain what is the difference. And then the third one is a VAWA. So VAWA is for a participant who was married to a U.S. citizen, is married or was married and suffered abuse by that citizen. And so they would be a VAWA participant. Now, the difference between a general provision and a spouse of U.S. citizen or a VAWA is that if they're a spouse of a U.S. citizen or a VAWA, they're eligible to apply for citizenship in 3 years. The general provision requires that they apply in 5 years. So you will check the box that applies. We'll move on to part 2. Part 2 is information about you. You will ask them what is their current legal name. Again, all this information should be on the questionnaire. You'll fill that up here. Now, have they used any other names? This is important to list any married names that they've ever used, or if they've just used one last name and have 2 last names. Also, if they were previously married or now divorced and they've used a married name, would go in this section as well. We'll go on to the next page. We'll ask the participants if they want to change their name. If they say yes, you click this box and it'll automatically allow you to enter this information. If not, you just move on to the next question. Okay, with some information, gender, date of birth. They're going to ask, question 7 is, when did they become a lawful permanent resident? Again, that should be on the questionnaire and or it should be on their resident card. Question 8 and 9 are usually the same answer. What country are you were born in, and what country are you a citizen of? A lot of our participants will say they're U.S. citizens. They're absolutely not. That's what they're hoping to become. And so let's make sure to put the country of citizenship for them. Question number 10 is, was one of your parents a U.S. citizen before you turned the age of 18? That is important to know because there are certain situations. If your parent became a U.S. citizen, you were under the age of 18, you may have become you may have become a citizen immediately or acquired citizenship through your parents. So it's important to know that information. Question number 11 is, if they are unable, because of a medical or physical condition, unable to learn English or learn the civics exam, then they're asking for an exception to the English exemption and then also to the civics exception. And so that's a medical exception. So we would click yes or no, and that's something that the attorney will discuss with the participant in the consultation phase. These questions are kind of self-explanatory, seeing if they want to update the Social Security Administration. Section 3 as well is just very information you'll get from the participant or from the questionnaire that should be completed. Let's go on to part number 4. The residence is their current address. Where do they currently live at? Immigration wants to know where you've lived in the past 5 years. So it's important to be able to list to cover the 5 years. And so you'll put their current address, and then here you're going to put all previous addresses. Question 2 under that section is their mailing address the same as the physical? You'll answer and fill out that information. Perfect. We're going to move on to part number 5, which is regarding their marital history. They're going to want to know their current marital status. You'll go ahead and check that information. If they are married, divorced, or widowed, separated, they're going to want to know how many times they've been married, including if they're currently married. If they are currently married, so you'll just go ahead and put 1 here. Then they're going to want to know if they're married to a U.S. citizen. If they are married to a U.S. citizen, you will have to complete the rest of this section regarding your current marriage and information about your marital history. However, if you look at this highlighted section, if they are not married to a U.S. citizen, you do not need to fill out this part. You will automatically skip to part 6, which would go into information about their children. Okay, and this as well is super important. Under part 6, question 1, they want to know your total number of children under 18, not total number of children altogether. And so it's important to know that if a family has, or a participant has a family of 10 and none of them are under the age of 18, you're going to put 0 in there. If they have anybody under the age of 18, you will have to include all of this information on there. Again, it should be on the questionnaire. We're going to move on to part 7. Immigration wants to know where you have worked or went to school in the past 5 years. Please make sure to include all 5 years. Part 8. Immigration wants to know, where have you traveled outside of the U.S.? Not in the U.S., but outside of the U.S. They want to know where you've traveled in the past 5 years. They want to know when you left, came back, and then where did you go? A lot of participants have a hard time remembering the exact date that they traveled outside of the U.S. If they travel by passport, that information should be in their passport. But if they traveled by land, it's really hard to remember. And so we want you to at least put the month and the year that they left. And if the participant absolutely cannot remember when they went, at least put the year and what country they traveled. And then we're going to get into part 9. So this is information about you. This is what's called eligibility questions. Immigration wants to make sure you have good moral character. And so there's going to be a lot of questions you will have to ask a participant. Just fair warning, a lot of them are uncomfortable questions, but unfortunately we do have to ask the participants all of these questions. And so you're going to have to go through all of these questions with the participants. And there is quite a few pages with all of these questions. I do want to get to this page here, which is page 8. It's still part 9, but this question, if you look at it, it includes all crimes or offenses in or outside of the U.S. their entire life ever. So it's important when you're asking that question, that you ask them your entire life in or outside of the U.S. And this is where they've had any kind of police contact. This includes traffic tickets. So it's important for them to put all the traffic tickets that they have here, which is why we ask the participants to get their driving record, just to make sure to get that information. And again, this is ever their entire life. So make sure to ask about traffic tickets. We'll continue to ask those questions. Some additional questions here. I do want to bring attention to page 9, which is this question 22A. So under federal law, all males who were in the U.S. between the ages of 18 to 25 have to have registered for selective service, regardless of immigration status. So if the participant was here between the ages of 18 and 25, and the question is, did they ever register for selective service? Some don't remember. I do want to mention that usually when you go get your driver's license or get a Colorado ID, they automatically register for selective service. So a way to be able to confirm that is to go to this website listed here. And it's very simple. Ask for the participant's last name, the last four of their social, their date of birth, and then it actually tells you if they were registered or not. If you are overwhelmed with asking for this information or looking this up, just let us know and one of the attorneys will take care of it in the consultation phase. If the participant did not register, then just put did not register, and then we will have to give an explanation on why they did not register at the time. And then there's some more information. It starts asking questions with regards to selective service or any kind of military service. Okay, so if you answered no to any of these questions, then you can automatically skip all of these questions and go to question 30A. Okay, and then you can start some of the questions there. So I want to bring finally attention to this last set of questions. So questions 31 and 32, and then questions 34 through 37. So we're going to skip question 33. All of those, the participant is required to say yes, that they do support and the Constitution and form of government in the United States, that they understand the full oath of allegiance. Question 34, that they'll are willing to take it. And so they go through those questions. So again, questions 31, 32, and 34 through 37 absolutely have to say yes. Now, question 33 is asked in a different way. It's a newer question on this form. So if a participant is wanting to get a medical exception because of a physical or developmental mental disability, immigration needs to know if that participant understands what it means to become a U.S. citizen. So the question is if they're able to take the oath of allegiance, but not only take it, understand what they're doing. And so that question is really important. You can ask that question, do you understand what it means to be a U.S. citizen? If they don't know how to answer that, please don't stress out about it. The attorneys will take care of that in the consultation once we meet with them to go over the application. There is a section on the newer form with regards to if they're unable to pay the full filing fee. We encourage the participants to come up with the money, but if they're unable to pay or want a reduced fee, please go ahead and fill this section now. Again, that should be completed in the questionnaire as well. We would want to put the participant's phone number and their email address. And then I want to discuss the interpreter section and the preparer section. And so this information, the attorney is going to fill it out because we're going to review the application with him and we're going to interpret the application as well. You do not need to do anything with this. The attorneys will fill this information out. And we always put the information for Jamlac. Okay, I do want to go over this last page, which is page 13. This is just for additional information. If the travel dates, the 5 years for employment, residence, or travel dates don't fit within the section in the above pages, you can go ahead and continue the information in this additional page. And that is the end of the application. Again, we highly recommend that as you're working on the case or the application, make sure to save it. It is super important. And then once you save it, we are done with the application here. Okay, and so please know that you're not alone. We're super grateful for you to take the time on a Saturday to be able to volunteer with our organization. There will be Jamlac staff with name tags all over the location to be able to answer any questions that you may have. Again, please just raise your hand. And I just want to thank all of you for watching and for volunteering. Thank you very much and have a great day.